No goals from league open play since August and yet to get a win. But is that about to change? Alright, hello and welcome to the MatchDayVlogs YouTube channel. As always, please remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe because it really does make a difference to the channel. We have a special guest this evening. We have the pleasure of being joined by Just Joe of JUSTJOE football channel, right? Is that the...
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's the new one. Yeah, the new one. I've taken I've left all Leeds TV in the summer. Had a summer transfer to my own channel. Yeah.
Big money move.
Yep.
Glad to hear it. Awesome. Well, just to let everyone know, Jack is okay. He's just had a few too many sherbets at non-league football, so he will be back soon. So Jack, if you're watching, get some rest, mate. And he's already given us a score prediction, so we'll chuck that into the show later on.
Cool.
But of course, we are here to talk about the upcoming game at St Mary's Stadium against Leeds United. But before we do so, there's been quite a lot going on in the world of football. And I'd really love to get your take on the recent news from, I believe, fairly close to where you are, actually. Up the road with the Newcastle takeover.
Oh, look at them two.
I saw this image on Twitter and it triggered me so much that I thought I'd just stick it in my own show, which is probably a ridiculous thing to do.
Yeah.
What's your take on this whole Geordie thing, which is kicked off since we've last had a show?
Look, it's what it is, right? I guess Newcastle fans can't choose who they are owned by.
Right.
It's not right.
Mm-hmm.
But then, look, my own chairman, I don't know, is he mine? I don't know. Well, the chairman of my football club took us on a tour to Myanmar, and Myanmar is human rights issues left, right, and centre. It's all about that. It's all about that. And I think it's insane. To be honest, I didn't follow it whilst it wasn't going. When it was initially mentioned, ages ago, I didn't really follow it, what it was actually not going ahead for. And then I see that it was something to do with the football rights. And now the Premier League are like, oh, yeah, we can welcome them in now that the football's sorted out. And it's like, what about everything else? And it just shows you that the money talks. Now, I think, like with any fan base, you'll know yourself, Mike, you would have Southampton fans that would turn around and go, I don't care.
Yeah. I
don't care. What they're doing, it's just money for my football club. You'll also have people on the other side who'll say, yeah, this isn't cool, this is not acceptable. But ultimately, they can't change anything. And just with football, as soon as they start winning games, that small section that probably aren't for it, are soon going to be happy. Listen, I live in the northeast now, have done for the past 10 years. It will do great for the area if they do it right. In terms, if you look at what Manchester City did with their infrastructure and what they did around Manchester, if they do something similar in the northeast, then that's huge. Yeah. To just have to do it the right way, I guess. But I don't know what your opinions on them are, but I think, Newcastle are a huge club. Yeah. For me, bigger than Chelsea were when Roman came in. Much bigger than City were when they were taken over. So maybe their ceiling's even higher. They already have a huge fan base. Do you see what I'm saying? So the fact that they're now cash money rich and then they can bring in all these players, it's just gonna. I mean, St James's Park's going to be bouncing again. One thing that did frustrate me was seeing, because you can sympathise with me and you've been to League One and we've been down in the depths. I've seen Newcastle fans on Twitter going, if you're not a Toon fan, you don't understand the real pain of football.
This is my thing. This is my thing. I don't understand that part.
Mike Ashley, say whatever you want about him, right? They never dropped lower than the Championship, and they only ever spent one successive season in the Championship. They never spent 3-4. Whenever they dropped down, he put in money. He got a good manager. He kept Rafa in the Championship. Like we
Right.
went down to League One, and I had like PE teachers like David Hockaday coming in from non-league football managing my, and these guys on Twitter want to say you don't understand pain until you've been a Newcastle fan. Give over. You know, I'm happy for them, but come on.
That's my big thing. Is it's just like, oh, Newcastle fans have just had it so rough, and I'm thinking, like literally 10 points deduction, nearly just disappearing completely as a football club. And you know, I will say, you know, fair play to them. I think it's great. You know, any of the top six that you know are feeling jealous about this move. You know, you guys had it initially. You know, Chelsea came along, they had big money takeover. Man City, remember when that deal came through? It was like Man City are going to be like the biggest team in the league. It was just like the madness of that. But like you say, they got a massive fan base. I mean, we know when we do like videos on this channel about Newcastle, I mean, the amount of opposing fans that we have in the comment section. So I think it's fair play for them. But I think the big worry is actually for the other leagues in Europe, because you suddenly think like the Premier League is already the biggest league in all of Europe, and then suddenly they've got another superpower that's going to be taking players away from the Bundesliga, away from the Liga, away from Ligue 1. So there's going to be lots of changes on that regard, and it just suddenly makes the Premier League just a much better option. So whatever that does to the wage structure for the rest of the clubs in the league, you know, the likes of, I mean, the rest of the Man City squad is going to be demanding like 600 grand a week, you know, if you know things that progress in the way they are. But anyway, I think that's just my general take. I got no ill feeling towards Newcastle for the takeover. Fair play to them. Of course, there are the kind of the human rights issues. I can't wait to see their first press conference. See how many journalists show up for that. But sorry, dark joke in there, nice and early. But also, you know, looking at likes of both our clubs, you know, if we suddenly had ownership, would we sort of turn a blind eye and go, yeah, but we might get Mbappe, you know? So
I think what was poor form, I don't know if you've seen it, was the so at Leeds United we have marching out together.
Okay.
Newcastle, I forget the name of it, but for the LGBTQ fans, and they sort of put out a statement saying, well, they worked with Amanda Staveley to bring this, so maybe they're coming over to Western culture. It was like, really? Like, are you really going to go with that? Like, say, oh, it's like when a person says, I'm not racist, my friends. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it was like. Like, their comment was,
count.
So it was like, oh, well, they worked with a woman, so maybe they're. I mean, come on. I think you need to, if you're going to make a stand, make a stand. You know, I get it, but I just think to sell, because I would expect at my football club, both them organisations and the supporters trust, they are like, they should be saying really what's gone on there. But listen, at the end of the day, I think, like we said at the start, there'll be sections of the fan base that'll say, I don't care, you know, and there'll be sections that won't. So, more power to them, man. Go ahead, Newcastle. Let's get Man United out of there. That'd be good. Like get Man United out of there. They could be the next Arsenal, man. It's all change.
Absolutely. I actually went along to a United game, and I couldn't believe how many songs were about you boys. They really dislike you lot, don't they? Flipping heck.
Yeah. But they'll tell us they don't, but you're right.
Anyway, let me get this horrific image off our screens, and let's talk about what we're here to actually talk about. Sorry, that was up for way too long. I didn't like that. It wasn't nice. Sorry about that.
Neither would go to Newcastle anyway, would they, Paul?
No. Listen to the confidence in my voice. You know, perhaps he's just signed
a
new
5 year deal. I'm really confident Phillips wouldn't.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, if it came to it, you know, perhaps he hasn't had an amazing start to the season. That's all I'm saying. So if someone came in with 80 million quid and offered Prowsey 300 grand a week, I think I'd probably have a word with him myself, you know. But
yeah, definitely.
It's just the tricky thing of the way of football and the, you know, the sort of the differences in the pay brackets. But there we go. So we are up against the mighty Leeds United, who have, obliterated us, let's be honest, the last 2 times we played them in the league. I think the first occasion we were coming off a 1-1 draw against Chelsea after a really rickety run, and we looked pretty good. And then Hassan Hüttl changed things up massively and fielded a weakened side, and we lost 3-0 against you at Ellen Road. And then in the return fixture, it was actually our first game back at St Mary's in front of a reduced capacity crowd, which was super brutal, by the way. And we lost 2-0 after a promising first half display, I must say, but we just couldn't get the killer edge. And I was actually fortunate enough to have Patrick Bamford do this right in front of me after he scored, and after he went down in the box like injured, face down for a good 5 minutes. I was genuinely worried for the guy, thinking like, has he played his last game of football here today? I was really
I remember
worried.
listening afterwards to your reaction pod, and
for him to do that, I'd just say, really, come on. So it was like, it's football, it's back as we know it. It's just so normal to be back here and experiencing this. So but there we go. There we go, indeed. Now, obviously, the two clubs have had a slowish start to the season. You boys have just got your first win against Watford. I mean, my first question for you would be, what's your impressions on the Leeds start to this year? Because you guys were bouncing coming out of last season. I mean, you got a win against Watford. Was that a bare minimum you were thinking, or was it a case of, if we don't win this, we're going to start to really worry about what's going on?
Certain sections of the fan base, I think for me it was always because, like you say, we've not had the best start, mate. It's been pretty rough going, in all honesty, especially when you consider how we started the previous season. The summer wasn't the best. We needed a midfielder, we didn't get one, and then we've been light in that area. And the signings that we made the previous summer are all still injured 12 months on from when we originally signed them. So it's like, and then performances, the start of the season, Manchester United getting pumped the way we did, and then I think as well, like normally with Leeds United, you can say it. So even in the time that we played Manchester United and we got beat 6-2, Leeds played well. And I know that sounds mad, but we got battered 6-2, but we played well. 5-1 we didn't, and up until the West Ham game, which was 6 games in, would have been the 6th game, we hadn't performed well at all, really. We should have battered Newcastle. I think a lot of sides, when you play Newcastle, you get that vibe. We let them into it. But West Ham, we performed really well. So I was confident after seeing that against a very good West Ham side, and that's what they are now. They're a European chase, and I know they're playing in Europe, but I had a feeling that they'd fall back off, but they haven't. They've just got better. And we performed really well. Of course, we concede a last-minute goal, and they win 2-1, Antonio, but he's a bit inevitable at the minute. So that happened, and a lot of Leeds fans were saying, we're doomed, we're done. But this is the madness of football, and the fickleness of it at times is that prior to that, we'd have been overjoyed with a point against West Ham. But because they score in the last minute, it's boom, we're rubbish, we're getting relegated, it's done. And that's how quick it can turn in football. I was confident from that point that we would go out, and I hadn't seen a lot of Watford that had an okay start to the season, but they were rubbish. Like, they were really, really bad. Then their manager, Cisco, gets sacked afterwards, which you could look at as being pretty harsh because they're all right in the league, but that's what Watford do, and they were rubbish. They had nothing. The only frustrating thing was we didn't convert enough. So, like, from a Southampton fan, you might look at it and say, well, they only beat Watford 1-0, but in actual fact, we dominated them. Like, they were really bad. But I always said to Leeds fans that watch my show, let's assess it after 10 games, and then we'll have an understanding of where we're going to be at. Because I knew after West Ham, we had Watford, Southampton, Wolves, Norwich, and Leicester. That, for me, there's a run there of some very winnable games. And I count you guys in that, and that's not meant in any, derogatory way. It's a winnable game for me. So, I said, let's see where we're at after 10, We beat Watford. I'm confident for the weekend. And then, like I say, we've got Wolves at home, Norwich. I mean, what's point in Norwich even being here at times, let's be honest, Mike. And then Leicester, who have not started great. So come 10 games, we might be, 11th, 12th again. And then it's like, okay, let's keep going. But it's not been an ideal start. But I'm not concerned because obviously what was happening was they're doing the Sheffield United second season syndrome. That's not what it is. That's not what it is.
No, I think you do get a lot of people worrying it, and like you say, it's amazing how quickly things change. I mean, you look at this stage of season, you get back-to-back wins, and suddenly you're challenging for Europe. And if you, the difficulty I think we've had at Southampton is the fact that we went to Man City thinking we're not getting anything from this, and they couldn't beat us. And we arguably should have had a penalty at that game, and maybe could have nicked a 1-0 win. At St Mary's, we had Manchester United come visit us, where they got a scrappy equalising goal, and you look at that one and think like, maybe we could have held on for the win at that. And so we've had opportunities, and then I think the real downer for us is that Wolves game, where we looked at Wolves, who couldn't beat a 10-man Brentford, and we're thinking, here it is, first one of the season, let's get going. And what we experienced was just this lacklustre performance of like nothing, and it was just a real downer. I think then you go into a Chelsea game and you're thinking like, well, it's going to be difficult to get something from this, and we get the real blow from that is the fact that we had Prowse having a straight red card, so he's out for the next 3 fixtures. So these games
for us is huge.
Well, absolutely. But looking at these next fixtures, it's absolutely massive for Southampton as a football club, because you're thinking, if Hasenhüttl can't get a win from the next 5 fixtures, maybe the next 2 fixtures, we could be seeing a big change at the top. I mean, there's been a lot of rumours going around in the international break, as there has been a lot of sort of people saying there's a vibe in the dressing room that effectively he's on his last legs. So it's a real pivotal moment, and I think this weekend it's going to be a tough game because we have the likes of Shea Adams, who could be potentially out injured, so we could see a mix up top. But we're not scoring goals. I mean, like I said at the start of the show, we haven't scored a goal in the league from open play since August the 28th.
Wow.
So it's just a real worry in terms of our lack of strike force, really. But I guess now would be a great time to look at the potential lineups for both sides. I've got a little bit of a graphic going here, so you'll be able to see what's going on. This is what I think is going to happen with the Southampton lineup. So we'll end up with Bednarek and Salisu in centre-back positions, because, of course, Jack Stevens is still out until December. I think he's still going to go with Livramento in that right-back position rather than playing him at any kind of higher. I think we'll go with Peru. Actually, I think we'll see a change, a bit more of a physical presence.
Can I ask you about him as well?
Yeah.
Because obviously Leeds United were massively linked with him, and we held talks and spoke with him, and then I think in the end we opted for Firpo. But what have you made to him? Has he been? Because I know he started the first 2, and then has he been playing Kyle Walker-Peters there? Like, what's your assessment of Roman?
Yeah, I think he's had when he first started, I think a lot of people looked at him and thought he looks a bit like a Cedric, and the likes of sort of maybe not being the best on the ball, but the 2 games I saw him in, he looked very decent, and he was aggressive, and it was kind of like maybe a Bertrand of about 4 or 5 seasons ago, when he had a bit of pace and a bit of creativity. Because the problem we had last season is the fact that everything works down the right side, where we had Kyle Walker-Peters and Yannick Vestergaard in this position, and effectively that pass like this was just a constant motion, and everything was at the right channel, and nothing happened on the left. But having someone like Roman Peru in there basically means that you have an opportunity on both sides, which just basically opens it up, makes you a little less predictable, but definitely a bit more of an attacking threat. So, but the last few games we've seen Kyle Walker-Peters, a proven right back, been playing a left back position, which has been a bit of a confusion, really. So I'm hoping we'll see that change on Saturday and see Peru in there. There's also talk of having Livramento playing in a higher position, and then having maybe a Kyle Walker-Peters play back here in his favoured right back position. Just purely because Livramento's I think shouldn't be pigeonholed into just the right back position. He's got a lot more creativity going forward. So, and been a hot topic for most sport pundits over the beginning of the season. So yeah, and then looking at the rest of the lineup, of course we don't have the likes of James Ward-Prowse. I think hopefully Stuart Armstrong is back fit and well. I think he's just going to slip in there. You maybe see Ibrahima Diallo in that position as well, maybe moving Armstrong out to the right side there. Gineppo, just more of a creative player, causes a bit more problems, but as creative as he is, he can be incredibly frustrating as well. And I think in the absence of Shea Adams, we're going to see Walcott up front. I just got a feeling Hasenhüttl was going to play it. Whether it's the right decision or not, I don't know. If I'm honest, I think probably Nathan Teller might be just as good a bet up front. But I think that is what we'll probably see the lineup looking like against Leeds on Saturday. So let me check in the chat section, see if everyone's completely disagreeing with me with that. Oh, apparently Peru's been shopping yesterday. Badger Farm and Sainsbury's Winchester. There we go. That's what you come on this show to find out about. Yeah, absolutely. Adrian saying Peru got a hell of a delivery to it. Yeah, absolutely. It's dispersion is absolutely fantastic. So no, that's all good. And then I've also very helpfully done a Leeds one. So you'll be able to tell us exactly how. What I've done is basically the lineup that started against Watford.
Yeah.
So you can tell me what.
So I've been jotting it down because what I have to do. Obviously, we know Southampton like to go with 2 up top, which normally means that Leeds United, whenever Leeds United come up against a team that play with 2 up top, Bielsa will play with 3 centre backs. So he'll play a 3-3-1-3 formation, right? Which is a mad one, right? So I have to write it down. Otherwise my head's all over.
That's not in the presets of this formation.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Exactly. I think you can get it on Football Manager. I think it is I think Bielsa's got his own little...
The elite version, yeah.
Yeah. Right, okay. So I think what will happen is obviously Melier will go in goal. The 3 centre-backs, I think will be Llorente, Cooper, and then Pascal Struijk. He'll go in there. And then right wing back.
How do you spell Struijk? Is it like that?
Struijk.
Struijk.
Yeah.
RJK.
IJK, sorry. IJK.
Is it IJK? Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no way I was getting that done, was I?
No, I think that's it anyway.
It's close enough for me.
Yeah, so yeah. There we go. That's what we're looking at.
Okay.
Cooper in the centre.
Off
that back 3, yeah. Llorente on the right.
On the right, okay.
Yeah.
And Struijk on the left.
Yeah, that's what I'd imagine. Right wing back, I would like to see Shackleton, but I think he will go Stuart Dallas. Yeah. Click will play in the middle. Rodrigo. See, our press conference comes tomorrow. Bamford didn't go away with England. He was injured. Will he be back? I'm not sure. Will he risk him? I'm not sure. So for the time being, let's leave Rodrigo up top. Obviously, sorry, Phillips where Click is. You want Phillips where Click is in the sort of DM, Click in the 8.
Okay. So 3-1.
So it's like a 3-3-1, and then James will play on the left alongside Rodrigo, like a 3 at the top. Yeah, so 3-3-1-3. That's it. That's what you're looking at. However, I know it's a madness, isn't it?
It's new on me, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a mad one. But the thing is, and I've seen someone mention it in the comments as well about Rafinha, Joe Leach actually. Rafinha won't play because of Brazil. Yeah, we're being told that apparently he will, but I just don't think the timings will allow it to happen because they play. I'm not sure who they play, but they play their game. Then he's got to get back to England, and then we've got a game within a couple of hours because do you know what I mean? Because obviously in South America, so I'm not sure Rafinha makes it back in time and makes it. Although Leeds are telling us that he will,
When's the
So
game? Because I heard it was on Friday. Is that right?
yes, yeah. Basically, like 12 hours or something before. I'm not sure. It's a madness, right?
There's no.
Um,
I'd be amazed because
yeah,
what Brazil? What they're like 8 hours ahead of us, aren't they?
yeah. It's. I don't think it's
Behind,
happening.
8 hours behind. Yeah.
We'll know more tomorrow, like when we hear from Bielsa, which will be about lunchtime. But yeah, I think, like's been said in the chat, what will happen is Rafinha will come out, and I think we'll see Jack Harrison instead of Rafinha.
Yeah.
Which is a loss for us, which is a massive loss because he's been quite pivotal to a lot of what we've done this season. So I think Rafinha will come out. Yeah, like Dave said, they're Leeds fan as well. Rafinha will be on the bench. If he indeed makes it back in time, he might not even be able to go on the bench. I'm not sure.
Rafinha would be on the bench with one of those eye masks, like catching.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I think it'll be Harrison, mate, where Rafinha is, and that's what you'll probably look at.
Okay.
But then again, we might hear Bamford might be fit, which means he'll go up top, and maybe Rodrigo plays where Click is. But for now, we'll go with that one there. And I'd prefer to see Shackleton play instead of Dallas in right wing back. But we'll wait and see.
Okay, so it's more of that kind of.
Yeah, it's a mad one. I still don't Mike, I can watch a Leeds United game in the stadium and be like, where's he playing? Where's he playing? Do you know what I mean? The man marking system as well, because you'll see the wing back go right over onto the other side, and it can hurt your head at times.
Yeah. And of course, with the likes of us having difficulty in breaking down a side, I mean, the amount of games that we've had in the sense that, if we just nicked a goal, we could have won it. And, it's been so frustrating that we've not been able to score goals and break down defences. The fact that you're working on this kind of system looks like this is a smart tactic.
Yeah, he always wants an extra man. Like, that's Bielsa's thing. If they have two up top, he always wants an extra man. He's always done it. So we'll see. We'll see a back three for sure with you playing two up top.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. So there we go. That's what we think the lineups will look like in terms of Southampton mixed up. Someone also mentioned about Armando Broja. That could be another one who mixed in the lineup there. It really just depends on whether or not Hasenhüttl's feeling confident to field in that position, and whether or not who's starting behind him, really, because Broja really sort of stands out when he's got a bit of space to run and have the ball run onto him. So we shall see. We also played like it's like a four. We played with one up top before as well, which really sort of mixed things up when we were trying to play super defensive. So yeah. But there we go. The two lineups. So moving on to the more contentious subjects where we discuss potential score predictions for this weekend's game, where of course it's all concrete and all based on entirely on facts and not our complete gut instincts. So let us know in the chat section what you think the score prediction will be, and me and Joe will go through those right after we've given ours. I can start with Jack's because he's given me his in the text. Let's see if I can pull that out. So Jack's one was he's going with a 3-0 Saints win. That'd be more goals. Well, that would actually match the amount of goals we scored in open play for the entire league season so far. So it's a bold one. But we'd expect nothing less from Jack. And he's also he's going for a Diallo brace.
Okay.
And Armstrong, either one. He doesn't care whether it be Stewart or Adam Armstrong. So there we go. There's more proof that is 100% based on statistics. So there we go. Fantastic. Right. I'm going to let the guest go first after Jack, of course. Sorry, I should have let you go first anyway. But there we go. Go on then, Joe. Let us know what you think the score's going to be on Saturday.
Yeah, so I didn't actually know this till I seen a graphic the other day, actually tweeted out by the club. I think it was StatZone. That Leeds United have no more. How's the word to word it? But basically, if you have a bogey team We're Southampton's bogey team, it would seem, because
Okay.
we've not won any more games than we have against Southampton. 14 in total, I think, in the Premier League. So you're our what's the word I'm looking for? But yeah, we win games against Southampton is basically what I'm saying. Obviously, history can change, and we did well against you last season. Did you say no goal in open play since August the 28th?
That's correct.
Is that right?
I think the last goal was Elianusi, St James's Park, and he scored with some part of his body, bundling it in. It was a glorious strike, worldy, as they say.
Nice.
So
yeah, look, Llorente being back in the side's huge for Leeds United. He comes back into the side, we get a clean sheet. We hadn't had a clean sheet all season up until that Watford game. But they were rubbish, really bad. So I fancy Southampton to get more chances. But then again, when you mentioned no goal from open play, I'm like, right, okay. We always beat Southampton. I'm confident they haven't scored. So Llorente being back in, I think we keep another clean sheet and we'll win the game, but not as comfortable as it's been previously. And Leeds aren't firing on all cylinders. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 Leeds United win, and I would take it all day.
I always feel flattered by that. I was expecting much, much worse.
We've not been up there yet.
I guess it's a similar kind of thing. I mean, you've not been scoring massive amounts. I mean, you got 7 goals so far in the league?
Yeah, it's not many, yeah.
So,
and conceding a lot as well. I think there's only Newcastle and Norwich that have conceded more than us. So we've conceded a lot this season.
Okay. So there we go. Joe is going for a 1-0 to the away side. What am I going to go for? Oh, do you know what? I can see us really struggling to break you down because we've struggled to break down pretty much everyone else in the league so far. So I can see this being a 1-0 Southampton win. Because Jack won't let me pick a draw. So I'm going to have to go with a win of some description. But Hasenhüttl needs a win, so he's got to go for it. And I think, we stopped West Ham from scoring. We stopped Man City from scoring. So, but again, I can't see us scoring loads in this one. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it ugly until we get our confidence back. But, it would be our first win of the season, so we definitely be wanting that. So there we go. We're both going for 1-0, but in either direction. So let's have a look through the chat section. Let's see what everyone else is thinking here. Oh my goodness, quite a few here. Here we go. Starting off with David Baker. He's going for a 1-1. Joe, member of the channel, is going for a 2-0 lead. Come on, Joe, really?
Oh, man.
Look at that. Mark Richards, also a memo, going for a 5-4. Really? Wow. Okay. Again, based 100% on stats. Joss here is going for a 4-0 to Leeds. Cool, that would probably be a nail in the coffin for Hasenhüttl if it's that much. Ed's going for a 2-0 Saints win. James Cap's going for a 2-1. Joe says he's got no confidence anymore. There we go. That's the reason why. Lord O'Vaney's going for a 2-1 to the Saints. Finn Barr's going for a 2-1 to the Saints. I'm not going to read the next one because it's from the dark half of Hampshire. Matthew Emerson's going for a 2-1 to the Saints. A lot of confidence here. Ethan Ling 3-1 Leeds. Ooh. And James got 2-1 Saints. Dexter Venom 2-2. Going to be tough without Prowsey and Shea. It will be very tough. Andrew Pascal's going for a 2-0 to the Saints. James going for a 9-0. Come on, really? Although we did get 33 minutes into the show without mentioning that result.
That's good, man.
Something we do. There we go. Well done, everyone. Good job. Ethan's going for hopefully a 1-0 win. Fantastic. There we go. I think there was a few repeats in there. But there we go. So generally a bit of a mixed bag there, really. So we shall see. But is there any particular elements that we should be... Thank you, by the way, for all those score predictions. Much appreciated. Any particular elements that we should be particularly worried about on the game on Saturday from the Leeds side?
I would say Rafinha, but obviously he's not going to make it. If, and it's a big if he plays with Jamie Shackleton at right wing back instead of Stuart Dallas, He's had a great start to the season. He's a young kid that's got a big future. I thought he would have played a lot more last season. Like when you predict your predictions for the end of season awards, I had him down as my young player of the year, but then he never really got the chance. He's a centre midfielder, but Bielsa sees him predominantly as a right back. But historically, he's played centre midfielder through the youth ranks, but Bielsa just keeps putting him in at right back. Ayling's injured, but has also not had a great start, so he's been playing at right back. But Stuart Dallas is an ultimate utility man for Bielsa and can play anywhere. Okay. So I think if he's going to take him out of midfield and there's a position to put him at right wing back, he will do that. And Jamie Shackleton will drop out. But I'd like Jamie Shackleton to keep his place. And he's great and so full of energy and can cause problems down that right-hand side. So him if he starts. If not, I'm going to go with Dan James because Dan James has got better and better. The more he's getting used to the system. He was good against Newcastle. Good against West Ham. Was really, really good against Watford. So I'm expecting, and he's had a good international break as well as Dan James. So
yeah, it's going to lost confidence in that.
I'm hoping he continues in that trajectory. He's had honestly, it's mad, Mike, because when he was at Manchester United, he could sneeze in the box and he'd get a penalty. He's been hacked down at Leeds United, once at Newcastle by Joe Willock, and how he wasn't given, I don't know. And then against Watford, he was basically rugby tackled, right? and he didn't get a penalty. It's like, what? I don't understand it. And he's gone from sneezing in the box in a red Manchester United shirt, getting every penalty under the sun, to now not getting any. But he's got so much pace, and he's, that he just beats players. And the mad thing is, when you see the way Leeds press and they can nick a ball, and then there's a ball and it looks like a 50-50. And you've got, let's say, Romeo and Dan James going. Then Dan James just poof, and the ball's gone. Do you know what I mean? Like he's like the road runner. So I would say he's just getting better week on week. So I'm going to pick him out as well, Dan James.
There we go. And was there any kind of like ill feeling with Dan James coming from United over to Leeds United? Was it just kind of like a?
He should have always been at Leeds.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? The thing that happened on January, deadline day, Bielsa's first season, Swansea just stopped answering the phone. There was a breakdown. I think he should have always been at Leeds United. His dad was a Leeds fan. He was actually from Hull, Leeds fan. Okay. Obviously, he gets the move to Manchester United. You can't forgive him. Of course, he's going to take that, But I think the jump was just a little bit too big. And, I don't think he's as bad as what people think he was. It's just that his quality... If you stick him in a side that's got Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, who on their day are world elite level, like, of course, he's going to look a bit out of sorts. So, no, there wasn't ill feeling, mate, because, like I say, he never should have been there, I don't think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And none of the Man United fans liked him, so I guess it's like, well, I think there's something in the fact as well that he was working under what I regard a PE teacher, and now he's getting proper coaching. So I want him to do well so he can sort of rub it in their faces.
Fired.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably fair comment. I mean, whenever Dan James has come down and play at St Mary's, he's always looked pretty lively. So, yeah, I totally see that being a worry. In terms of a Southampton perspective, I think who you need to look out for, I would probably say Stuart Armstrong. Coming back in, he hasn't played any game time all season, but he is a big threat, an attacking midfield player that can be very creative and not look too distant from taking strikes right outside the box there. So that could be quite an exciting combination. Maybe seeing him work together with a Nathan Redmond as well, because those two tend to work well. And then the likes of Livramento, easily our biggest star of the season so far. Incredibly creative player. And can create things out of nothing, really. So that's something that we've really needed in the absence of a certain person that left us to go to Aston Villa for some weird reason. So that's pretty much the two that I think you need to worry about. Whether or not the the striking pairing with Adam Armstrong, who's been practicing shooting on goal for the last 2 weeks solidly. Maybe we'll see a renewed strength from that side, but huge unknown, if I'm honest, in terms of what it will be up front. So we'll just have to wait and see. But there we go. But that's pretty much it, really. Any final thoughts from you, Joe, in terms of the game on Saturday?
Just really excited to see Livramento, I think, and obviously to get a look at Romain Perrault as well. Obviously, the fact that Leeds United were linked so long, I'd like to get a look at him. Yeah. That they're the main two, really. But yeah, I'm confident we get 3 points, Mike. I can't lie. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I am really confident ahead of this one.
It's definitely a worry, and if heaven forbid that was to happen, I'm generally starting to worry for our managerial position. So
you know what my thoughts were on the old crying gate, and it's just got worse and worse and worse. It's just got worse and worse and worse. Yeah, it's mad, really.
It's a crazy thing. Yeah. Our win record in 2021 is horrendous. I think we've had 5 in 2021, which is pretty bad. But the whole thing, it kind of started to turn at that Liverpool game, and the story being that the only thing he wanted was 3 points against Klopp, and he got it, and down tools. I don't know what happened. But,
I'm complete.
Exactly. He said, "I've had enough. Let's just run out the contract and forget who cares." But I certainly hope not. But we have seen some impressive football from Hasenhüttl, but it's just been very frustrating, and I just certainly do worry about the next following fixtures. We've got yourselves on Saturday. Following that, we've got Burnley. After that, we've got Watford away, and then we've got Aston Villa at home on a Friday night. So it's really do or die time for us in terms of getting something. But it's just we've been so close, but just haven't been able to get those 3 points just as yet. But like you say, as soon as you get a couple of back-to-back wins, things change very, very quickly.
Definitely.
So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Excellent. Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining us here on the show tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I hope you're horribly wrong with your score prediction. But certainly, just let us know where people can find you on your channel and details. That'd be great. Yeah,
it's Just Joe Football Show. And like I say, I'll be doing a Southampton preview, just a bit of a pre-recorded one tomorrow, which will be dropping. I'll have a watch along as well. I know Mike will. So I know you'll all be... No, Mike will be at the game.
I'll be at the game. So watch Joe's watch along. And
watch my watch along.
Really upset as we're celebrating.
Well, I was just going to say, if you are watching anything MatchDayVlogs are doing, when you do score, then you can come over and watch my salty tears, can't you? But yeah, check me out if you're on YouTube. I'll be doing that there because I've only managed to get to Newcastle away this season. They're like gold dust, our away tickets for Leeds United fans at the minute. So,
that's something you can be quite proud of, I think. But there we go. There we go. No, it's certainly getting down to the stadium. It's funny. The most viewed vlog we had this season so far has been the Wolves home game. And I just don't get it. It's almost like we've turned into Arsenal fan TV where, you get that horrible loss and suddenly all the views come in. It's just like, oh, really? Don't direct us down that path, please. But there we go. I guess it's the way of the world. Excellent stuff. Well, Joe, thanks so much for joining us here. Thanks to everyone who's joined us in the chat section. It's been a really great show. Thanks for all your comments, all your input, all your score predictions. And as always, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all in the next one. All right, see ya.